resiliency tool. So we're going to generate some of the explanations for this right now. A rapid reset tool is anything that brings positive sensory awareness to the present. Rapid reset tools can help you or someone else you know get back to their resilient zone when they're either amped up or really shut down. You can use these tools in your communities, in your family life, at your churches, in your organizations to help connect with people when you're trying to relate, when you're trying to have discussions and so forth. So I would strongly encourage you guys to really lean into this segment right now. And I'm going to tell you more about how you can engage with some of the tools and products we offer at ROI here in a bit. But some examples of rapid resets are grounding, taking a sip of water, pushing really, really hard against the wall to get that energy out, walk around the room or outside to get some good air, so maybe some vitamin D from the sun. You might want to sing or hum. You might want to do heavy work. You might want to get in there and get all those old clothes out of your closet and take some things to Goodwill. You might want to give your house a nice clean. You might want to clean your car. So doing heavy work is also an example of a rapid reset tool. You could orient, you could look around you, notice things on the wall, in the sky, how something feels, the texture, or you can tap side to side. So these are very few examples. There's so many more, but a few examples of how you can use rapid reset tools and what they are. And today, for our activity, as we ground and settle into our space, we're going to use one of these tools together just now. And so the tool that I love and have been finding a lot of success with, not just with me personally, but with my daughter, actually, Journey, she's 4. She's been using this tool a lot here lately to kind of center and ground along with deep breathing. And so I'm going to generate our instructions for us today for singing and humming as a rapid reset tool. So I want you guys together with me, take a moment and think of your favorite song. It can be from any musical genre. It could be Rhinestone Cowboy. It could be Escape from New York. It could be anything you want. It could be a jingle from a commercial. It could be a lullaby a caregiver sang to you when you were in your formative years, but just any song. So keep that song in your head as I generate the rest of our instructions. And so right now, I want everybody to make sure that your microphone is muted. And if you're new to Zoom, how you can do that is if you look in your toolbar in your Zoom window in the left corner, you'll see a little microphone that has mute under it. You just want to click that so there's a red line that appears there. That means you are muted. And so I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going to mute in that left corner on that microphone. And now I was muted and my lips were moving, but you couldn't hear me. So if you're having any challenges with muting or anything, just let us know. Naomi can help us with that on the manual controls, but go ahead and mute yourselves. And now we're going to hum our favorite song. You have a minute to practice this tool, but I want you to really think about how your body feels as you're doing this humming. Do you notice your shoulders dropping? Do you notice you tapping your foot? Pay really close attention to what is happening in your body as we use this tool together. So along with me, everybody has their songs in their head. I'm going to set the clock for 1 minute here. You can kind of see it, but not really. But I'm going to set it. Just know it's happening. And I'm going to hit start and I'm going to mute myself and let's sing together or hum together. All right, 1 minute is up now. I'm interested to hear from a few of you how that tool felt. I know I noticed myself rocking back and forth. I was singing Anita Baker Angel. That's the first thing that came up to me. I absolutely love Anita Baker. Singing anything or humming anything or hearing anything by her gives me a lot of joy. And so that is what I experienced in my body. And I would love to open the floor for you guys to share a few of you to share your experience as you experience the rapid reset tool of humming or singing.
Good afternoon. My name is Cheryl Yarrow. I work with the Rocky Mount CDSA, and the song that I was humming is actually a new song to me. I just heard it for the first time about a week ago. It's called Gyra from Elevation. And it just talks about spiritually how your maker is just enough for you, no matter what you're going through. And I felt my shoulders drop, my chest felt light. It was just a sense of peace.
Thank you, Cheryl. That's so beautiful. I love that song too, by the way. Such a great song to get you motivated, to get you feeling all of that energy that the spirit provides. So yes, anybody else want to come off mute really quickly and share how they experienced the hum or sing rapid reset tool?
I really enjoyed that exercise. I'm not good at singing, so I'm glad we were on mute, but I still sing anyway. And I just noticed the rocking as well. I noticed like tingling in my body and like even like a little bit of a chill, but not like I was cold, or just that energy kind of moving around and settling. And so I really enjoyed that exercise. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it and felt some positivity there. I see some folks sharing their experiences in the chat. Naomi said the humming to the electric slide was fresh on my mind and wanted to get up and do the dance. Definitely that song always evokes that for me too, Naomi. So I feel that. So thank you guys for sharing, whether it was off mute or in the chat. Continue to do that if you like. And just want to leave you with one more thing as you think about rapid reset tools. ROI has rapid reset tool cards for sale. They will be available on our website. And if you look at the slide here, you can see what they look like. They're very cool. You can use these when you're facilitating conversations in big groups, small groups, one-on-one with your clients, in your church communities. These are really great tools here. These are really some wonderful cards to use if you need them in your community work in some way. So I would strongly encourage you to visit our website, check out our products. We have a couple, but this one in particular is what we just did today. And you can see it gives you instructions here, some visuals around how you might want to engage with the tools. So yeah, feel free to check out the website and connect with that tool if you like and purchase some. And we'll be dropping that in the chat if you want to explore more. And so up next, thank you guys for being here with us today, grounding, settling in. And now for our speaker of the hour, I am really excited about this speaker because of a number of reasons. She comes to us with so many experiences and so much knowledge. Just as a woman of color, as an Indigenous woman hailing from the Waccamaw tribe. And I also share Indigenous lineage as a proud member of the Halawasa Pony Nation here in Halifax County, North Carolina. And so super excited to see someone look like me in this space and share more about her expertise related to our work in trauma and resilience. And so I won't go into it too much, but I'll let her do her own story sharing here. Just want to introduce and welcome and invite you all in to hear and listen to our keynote speaker today, Alicia Freeman of Ascend Counseling. So take it away, Alicia. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for having me today. I'm so honored to be here and share this virtual space with you. Again, I am Alicia Freeman. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor and a licensed clinical addiction specialist. I consider myself a psychotherapist and educator. And so today I'm going to share a little bit from my professional experience, but also a lot of just my personal experience, and hope that you can gain some knowledge and empathy and compassion through our practices today. When I was offered we could go back to the other slide, I'll let you know. But when I was offered the opportunity to keynote today's community meeting, I was considering, like, what would I share? Like, what will these participants find relevant, or how can I connect with you all deeply in such a brief period of time in a virtual environment? And so what I landed on was the healing power of story sharing for today's topic. And so we can go ahead to the next slide. And I really hope that you just leave today's meeting better than you arrived, and with a little more knowledge than you had when you came, and insights from our own personal lived experiences. So our objectives for today are to identify story sharing as a healing modality. I also want to provide you all with a framework to utilize story sharing in your practice or in your personal lives. And then I will share a practical application of storytelling, story sharing, and you all will get the opportunity there to put what we've discussed so far into practice and connect with other members in the meeting today. Next slide, please. So what is story sharing, or did I mean storytelling? I mean, we may know of storytelling from Indigenous history and lineage. And so story sharing is more how I prefer to term this. So it is somewhat storytelling, but not really. So there's many aspects of storytelling that are considered ancient traditions in Indigenous and African cultures. And it has been used for many years to impart ancestral wisdom and knowledge in these cultures. And we still use this today in our tribal nations. And so one way we use story sharing in Native American culture currently is through our talking and healing circles. And in these circles, we're able to enhance connection and belonging. And we know how important that sense of belonging is to our people of color, and what a difference that makes in our resilience and our ability to cope with life's circumstances. And so in story sharing and in our talking circles, we're able to increase empathy and build self-compassion through hearing other stories, and learn how to accept things that we may not necessarily agree with. And so I want to encourage you all today that whatever is shared in our breakout spaces, these are folks' lived experience, and we're going to view everyone as the expert on their own lives. And so we don't have to agree with the choices they've made, but we can accept that they made the best choice that they could at that time, given the circumstances they had. And so we really use these talking and healing circles not only in situations like substance use prevention and therapeutic interventions, but we also use them for collaborative problem solving in our tribal communities. And so I really just want us to recognize how this can be a healing experience, and how it is even used in restorative justice methodologies, and also a major component of peer and community support. All right, so next slide, please. I'm going to start to generate a framework for us to use if we were going to use story sharing in our practice or in our workplace, or even with a community organization. So we would want to start by setting that up with some group agreements or some group norms. And so today, and you can choose these, you can have participants add to these, but these are the ones that I chose for today, and you all are also welcome to add to those. So challenge by choice. This means that folks can opt out of any portion of today's exercise if you need to for yourself. We understand everybody's coming from different walks of life, and things may be triggering or sensitive for some folks. And so we're not going to force participation at any point. Also, we are in a virtual environment, so we want to do our best to eliminate distractions. I know that can be challenging with multitasking when we're working from home and such. But even if we were in person, we would want to eliminate those distractions and be present in our space together. We also want to bring respect to our space and the lived experiences that are shared. We want to recognize these differences and unique challenges for what they are, and accept folks and respect and accept what is being shared today. We also want to respect each other's privacy. And so if things are shared in our space today, let's keep it here and not share out any personally identifying information. So last but certainly not least, I want you to take care of yourself. And this goes into everything, all the other group agreements. So if you need a break, if you need to practice some of those resilient rapid reset tools that Courtney shared earlier, please do that as a part of your self-care as we go through this exercise. If anyone has anything that they would like to add to the group agreements, please feel free to drop those in the chat. And if not, if I could just get a reaction, thumbs up, heart, whatever you got for me to let me know you're in agreement with those. And go back real quick, and I'm just going to briefly review the modeling story sharing before I actually do that. And then the guided practice is the portion that you all will get to participate in. So with the model story sharing, I'm going to model this experience for us before we break out into the guided practice. I want you to recognize like the level of self-awareness that's required, the transparency, the vulnerability, and even the self-compassion to kind of remove some of that judgment about the things that have happened to us in our life that are not necessarily our fault, but maybe, yeah, we can definitely take some responsibility in changing the trajectory of our lives. And that's why this resilience work is so important. And so then I will let you all, I will give you some tools to break out into rooms, and we'll call you to action to really practice that together, self-reflect and have that vulnerability in a safe space. And then we'll come back and kind of debrief how that experience was for everyone. So I can go ahead and start my story now and move into the next slide. So this is little me, tiny tot Miss Waccamaw Suwan. I do want to offer a trigger warning for folks because I will be discussing some ACEs and some of those adverse childhood experiences throughout. So take care of yourself during this section. So in my culture, we call this sharing medicine. We believe that everyone has gifts from the Creator and that we have medicine to share with each other. And so I want you to also keep that in top of mind as we move forward today. So I grew up in a rural, predominantly Native American community in southeastern North Carolina, and it's called Buckhead. And so most of the time when I say Buckhead, folks say Atlanta, or they just have no clue. So it's about 30 minutes from Wilmington. It's situated in between Wilmington and Whiteville, if you've ever heard of those areas. The Waccamaw Suwan tribe has about a little over 25,000 enrolled members currently. I am my only child. My mom raised me as a single parent. She and my dad were married, but he was addicted to drugs and ended up incarcerated for about 12 years for attempted murder. And actually, the person that he attempted to murder was my mother. And so my mom was a victim of domestic violence. And she still carries those physical and emotional scars of that life experience. And she taught me to value independence and strong work ethic. And so even through this process, I've had to relearn things. You know, when we go through those traumatic experiences, sometimes we end up really far on the opposite side. And so that ultra independent trauma response and trying to relearn like what is interdependence, that's part of our values in Native American culture, and interconnectedness. Like how does that look when I've been taught to be so independent? We can't trust folks, like if you can't trust your own spouse, like how does that impact your life? I grew up going to powwows and being very involved in my culture and dancing and representing my tribe as princess. I made amazing grades in school, but I got in trouble for my behavior a lot. I was a pretty intelligent kid and just very talkative and inquisitive, and folks didn't have the skills that you all are providing. And that's why I think, Rural Opportunity Institute is so valuable, because these rural communities don't have these skills to help children like get access to the things they need to keep that interest flowing. And so I shared with you some of those protective factors around story sharing, because I think that really made a difference in the trajectory of my story. And so I want to move on to the next slide just to review some of those ACEs in my story. So we're seeing about 7 so far. I'm hitting all of them under household dysfunction. As a mental health expert, I recognize that substance use is generally connected to mental health and a lot of time co-occurring. I also recognize some mental health impacts my mom was experiencing without proper care or treatment. She was treated violently, I'm spotlighted. I thought I was getting cut off. She had divorce, she had an incarcerated husband or ex-husband, and then also around some neglect with emotional abuse there. We know that over 4 is a serious risk for later problems in life. However, we can see how protective factors and how resiliency can change that trajectory for folks. And I really had that in my community. And even upon going to East Carolina University, a predominantly white institution, I found a community there to still create that sense of belonging, to hold me accountable, to challenge me, to put me in that stretch zone, and so that I could grow into what I am today. And also just recognizing how seeing substance use, seeing mental illness in my community led me to want to problem solve and to take that into a career path. Okay, so next slide, please. That is a little bit of my story, but I want to provide you all plenty of time to share together. And so now is our opportunity for breakout rooms. I am going to drop a tool in the chat that we will be using for this, and it also has some additional resources included. 1 second. Do y'all have that tool handy? I'm trying to pull it up. Well, I had it pulled up, but now it's not coming up. Okay, I got it. So you'll see intersectionality and identity in the chat here. We're going to use the very last page of this, which is the social identity wheel here. So when we move into our breakout rooms, I'd like for everyone to complete this wheel and think about the different identities that you hold or that you relate to in the wheel. And then I would like for folks to share a little about their story. So identifying a personal challenge that relates to your identity, and then naming some of those risk factors that were involved, and sharing an example of demonstrated resilience or what resilience factors actually led to a positive outcome for you. So do we have any questions before we send people off into breakout land?
Yeah, just to over clarify, Alicia, they are completing the social identity wheel on the right on page 4 of that link you dropped in. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. The very last page, because there's a personal identity wheel. So we're going to ignore that one and we're going to go to the social identity wheel.
And all the participants should see an option to join their breakout group right now.
Okay, I'm having trouble opening it.
Cheryl, was that you?
Yes, that's me. I'll join the group. I'll keep trying. It's not allowing, it says save it, and it's not allowing me to save so I can open it.
Brett, same here on my end too.
Hold on one second, guys. If you go to that link in the chat, I'm just gonna, it's a blank slide, but in 2 seconds, it'll be not a blank slide. That's the wheel that's now on it. People see that in slide 16.
Okay, slide 16.
Yeah, I thought the link should go there, but if it doesn't,
Okay. I have it. Thank you.
that's an alternative way to do it. So you have it. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
no problem. Gotta love technology.
Have as well, Vici. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, good to see you, Jonathan.
See you as well, Seth. How you doing? Should we go ahead and join now, Miss Naomi? Join the group now?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yes,
Okay.
please. If you see it on your screen, please join.
Thank you.
I think there might be some additional guests that are not in a room yet.
There might be some folks who are, multitasking or something. Oh, can someone also pause the recording?